This is the end of days.
The end of days.
Take a look at this.
It is not really the end of days.
Coronavirus is bringing a plague of dangerous doomsday predictions. In the summer of 2008, an elderly psychic who claimed she started receiving premonitions at age 5 published a book that contained an ominous prediction. In around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. It said, almost more baffling than the illness itself will be the fact that it will suddenly vanish as quickly as it arrived.
I hope it does.
Attack again 10 years later, and then disappear completely.
Well, that'd be wonderful. We woke up tomorrow and
And it was gone.
everybody's cured.
But what if you woke up tomorrow and you were like, so what's going on with the outbreak? And then we all just went like this. What outbreak, Adam? The world is fine. Then what?
I would rip your beanie off. Be like, Tim, I saved you. And then
beanie?
fight because it'd be like trying to get on me.
Yeah. That's exactly
All right, let's
what
see.
happened.
They say, the prediction faded from public memory, and the book's author, Sylvia Brown, died in 2013. But the coronavirus pandemic has brought new attention to Brown's book, End of Days, Predictions and Prophecies About the End of the World. It shot up to number 2 on Amazon's nonfiction chart, and physical copies are now selling for hundreds of dollars.
What?
I can explain this very, very simply to you. And I'm going to use something that I kind of learned from Penn and Teller. Your name is John. John, I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 50. And guess what? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I want you to pick a number between 1 and 50. And John, you picked 23. The gag is, Penn and Teller did this, where with enough people watching, most people will just be like, my name's not John and I didn't pick 23.
Yeah.
But for all of the people who are named John who did pick 23, they're going, what? Why did you do that?
Yeah.
And it's because it's random. It's just probability.
Mm-hmm.
So here you have a lady who wrote a book. Guess what? I'm sure there are like 500 million books from people who claimed things, and we don't care about any of the books that got it wrong.
Right.
So it's like it's like, you ever see the Plinko game?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you drop the ball and it bounces around.
Yep.
Yeah, if you dump 100 balls into a little thing, you're gonna get one in one of the slots. Like,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Now that I've rained on everyone's parade, let's read a little bit more. They say government and public health officials have issued all sorts of guidelines to help people protect themselves against the spread of COVID-19, but there's another contagion that experts seem helpless to stop: the plague of prophets, warning that the coronavirus is a sign we're at the end of days. There is something about pandemics that caused panicked people to empty their minds along with supermarket shelves and replace it with toilet paper, I guess.
Apparently.
Countless doomsday warnings like Brown's prediction are spreading online, blending coronavirus fears with everything from political paranoia about a one-world government controlled by the UN to Australian wildfires and swarms of locusts in Africa. Well, there are literally swarms of locusts in Africa.
Oh my
And that's
gosh.
one of the plagues, isn't it?
Yeah,
That
it
is one of the plagues.
Is the coronavirus a plague? Pots and boils was, but this is not that.
Yeah, this
no.
isn't that.
No, this is people dying because
Well,
they can't
that was
breathe.
the end. Well, that was the end plague. Was everyone died?
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Well, it's not
started
killing
that-
everyone, though.
Well, it's killing.
Did we miss the part where the firstborn got like all snatched up? Was that one of them? Or was that not a plague?
That was a plague,
It was?
and I don't
The
remember
firstborn?
Passover. They put blood
Yeah.
on the
So this is actually happening. Check this out. There's some crazy videos, man. East Africa faces dual shock from coronavirus and locust swarms.
Dang.
Yeah, dude. Already being ravaged by the worst infestation of desert locusts in 70 years.
Whoa.
East African economies are now staring down the barrel of the coronavirus pandemic. The region was the standout performer for economic growth in the subcontinent prior to the locust outbreaks, which threatens the food security and livelihoods of 25 million people and has required emergency funding of its own from the UN and international governments. Now, it gets even weirder. China launches huge fight back against biblical plague in the Middle East. Now, this one's weird. It's from March 9th because it includes China fighting in the Middle East against a biblical locust swarm. It's like a perfect storm of weird,
Yeah.
common news events.
what?
Yeah, that is really
Locusts, China, biblical, Middle East, all just mashed together in one.
Yep.
But hey,
weird. What a time to be alive.
this is from express.co.uk. They say, what does it say? China has launched a huge fight back against a swarm of locusts of biblical proportions, which has now seen Pakistan declare a state of emergency. Is there a video of the locusts, maybe?
Whoa. Are those actual pictures?
This is just some planes. What is this? Oh, okay. This
I
is
want
just
airplanes.
This is just people from
I
China
want
arriving.
pictures of locusts.
The Middle Eastern country became the latest victim of a swarm of locusts that have wreaked havoc across East Africa for weeks. endangering economies in a region heavily dependent on agriculture for food security. Heavy rains, yeah, we get it. Show us the locusts. Ooh, there they are. Now, the funny thing is, on their own, they're cute little grasshoppers.
Aw.
But together, they're a swarm of vicious, crop-ravaging monsters that make scary sounds. So they go on to talk about China providing, cargo and supplies. I'm not super concerned about, what China's doing. Just the fact there is a locust swarm.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about everything that's going on Netflix. What did you pull up Netflix the other day, right?
Yeah, it was the the top 10 movies. Half of them are Outbreak, Pandemics, and
2012,
whatever. All these 2012.
Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, Armageddon.
Everyone's watching apocalypse movies.
Everyone's like, let's just dive as deep as we can.
Yeah, I saw my uncle say something about that. He's like, why are we doing this? This is really strange to me. And I was like, no, we kind of want to know what's going to happen. And we have this affinity for stuff that we're in the movie.
Most of these movies are terrible.
Contagion.
They're so bad.
Contagion is scary.
I haven't seen
No,
that
Contagion's
one.
good.
I got to see that.
Contagion is good.
I got to see that movie.
Contagion isn't like a regular movie.
No.
That it's interesting because it follows a bunch of different characters doing a bunch of different things.
Oh, okay.
But the craziest thing right now is this viral video where this dude, he's filming CNN.
Okay.
It's Sanjay Gupta saying, increase your social distancing. We need to, do X, Y, and Z. Here's what we can expect. And then he's like, wait a minute. And then he turns to another screen, and it's the movie Contagion, where Lawrence Fishburne is saying the exact same thing to Sanjay Gupta.
Seriously?
In the movie.
Oh
and he
my
was
gosh.
like, did this dude just say the exact same thing to the guy who's saying it now? He's like, y'all, we're in a movie, man.
Yeah,
this is
man.
crazy.
We're in a movie.
Man, it's true.
That
So
is
check us out.
crazy.
There's another Doomsday prophecy thing happening right now that's not really that relevant. This is from the Catholic News Agency, which I might add is absolutely certified as a credible news organization by
NewsGuard. Struck me
NewsGuard.
as strange.
And they say, I can't, what is this?
What?
Medjugorje
Yeah.
Visionary says monthly apparitions have come to an end. This story is about a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a woman. That's the town she's in, Bosnia and
Okay.
That's why I can't
Herzegovina.
pronounce it.
A woman who claims to be a visionary of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the Bosnian town of Medjugorje.
Nice.
Medjugorje.
Good work.
Has said that Mary will no longer appear to her on the 2nd of every month, as she has reportedly done monthly since 1987. Alleged Marian apparitions have long been a subject of controversy in the church, which have been investigated by the church but not yet authenticated or rejected. So the alleged apparitions began in 1981 when 6 children, a town that is now a town in what is now Bosnia and Herzegovina, began to experience phenomena which they have claimed to be apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary. According to these 6 seers, the apparitions contained a message of peace for the world, a call to conversion, prayer, and fasting, as well as certain secrets surrounding events to be fulfilled in the future. The fasting thing to me sounds like, lose some weight, man. Could you imagine if apparitions were really just like aliens came and they were like, dude, put on the fork, bro. And they were like, they told me to fast. Well, I guess.
That's fair.
Well, why just this one person?
It's 6 people.
Oh,
They
6
said
people?
6 seers.
Oh, 6 seers, huh?
Since their beginning, the alleged apparitions have been a source of both controversy and conversion, with many flocking to the city for pilgrimage and prayer, and some claiming to have experienced miracles at the site, while many others claimed the visions are non-credible. Wasn't there a story, we talked about this before, where they were licking, there was a statue of Mary was crying, and they started licking it and stuff.
And it was sewage lines.
Yeah, it was a
Yep.
leaky toilet. Man, maybe it's not true. I don't know. It's the internet. You don't know if it's true.
It's all true.
So here's what happened. On March 18th, Soldo announced that the Blessed Mother would no longer appear to her at the time, according to the Caritas community, which identifies itself as the largest Medjugorje center in the world. In January 2014, a Vatican commission concluded a nearly 4-year-long investigation on the doctrinal and disciplinary aspects of the apparitions and submitted a document to the congregation for the doctrine of faith. When the congregation has analyzed the commission's findings, it will finalize a document on the site, which will be submitted to the Pope, who will make a final decision. Pope Francis approved Catholic pilgrimages there in May 2019, but he has not made a deliberation on the authenticity of the apparitions. Those alleged apparitions still require an examination by the church. Yeah, we get it. They're not going to say whether it's real or not.
So so people were flocking here to because it was a religious place?
Where people were having visions of the Virgin Mary.
Right. So now there's a pandemic in the world, and they're like, no more visions, so no reason to come here.
Well, no,
don't come here anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
But they're going to kick back up again in 6 months.
Since it's over. She's returned.
I'm sure.
Well,
I'm serious. I'm calling it now.
Well, we'll see. But we did that story the other day about Yellowstone pulsating.
Yeah, that's true.
It's 2020.
It is the
No
end.
one ever said 2020 was the end of days.
Well, this girl did, didn't she? Oh no, she just said that
didn't
there'd
give
be
a
a pneumonia.
Yeah, see, smart prophets don't give dates.
Right.
Why does CNN got to rain on our parade? Look at this.
Yeah, come on.
Making fun of everybody. There's a long history of bad doomsday predictions.
That's true.
That is true.
When I lived in LA, there was a billboard, and it said something like, I can't remember the date. It was like June 16th, 2010 will be the end. And I was like, oh man, it's going to be so funny when that comes and passes. And then you know what happened when it passed?
What?
They just changed the date.
Really?
Yeah, and the guy apparently was like, I was 3 months too early. I misinterpreted the texts and the prophecy. And then I'm like, bro, it's been 10 years. We're all still here.
Yep.
But I don't know. I guess people just, man, they buy into this stuff.
Yes, they do.
You know what? When I was little, my dad used to say, like, you know what you do if someone tells you the world's gonna end?
What?
Then you make a bet.
How much you want to bet?
Yeah,
Let's bet.
I'll bet you my life savings the world doesn't end tomorrow. You know why?
Because if it does end, what do
I care?
What do you
Right,
need your
exactly.
life savings for?
And so it's a win. It's it. You can only win.
Yeah.
So then it's like, all right, you owe me 10 grand or whatever.
Yeah.
Then there you go. Make the bet.
Pay up.
So, I mean, that's a good way to call these people out.
Yeah.
Say, all right, I'll tell you what. Not even a big bet. I'll tell you what. If the world, I'll bet you, like, it's such a ridiculous thing because if the world ends, you can't give them the money anyway.
I know. Yeah.
So it's like we're all dead.
Yeah. It's a win-win.
So this is funny. Check it out. They say, remember Y2K?
Yeah.
How about the Mayan apocalypse? Some people pointed to the end of the Mayan long count calendar on December 21st, 2012, to conclude it also meant the end of the world. They warned of giant tidal waves and the Earth would collide with another planet. Sales of survival kits soared. And there were reports that a man in China built a modern-day Noah's Ark. But such bad predictions aren't a modern phenomenon. You know what's funny?
No, the Mayan calendar, it's just the end of the calendar, so it's the beginning of the calendar again.
This is the joke.
You know what the great year is?
Yeah. The joke I used to have with people is, how would you feel if I came to you and showed you a calendar and I said, it ends December 31st? That's when the world will end. You're like, no, it goes back to January 1st. What do you mean?
Right, exactly.
You're like, no, the calendar ends.
There's no calendar after this calendar.
I got a crazy story, though, for you. In the early 2000s, because I used to talk to my friends about all this stuff. They would
the aughts. I recently
The aughts?
learned. I learned this.
The aughts,
And I love it. It makes the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's like or
Zeros.
the aughts.
Yeah.
Early
Check it out.
aughts.
We were reading up on this stuff. And one of the things we ended up reading was that it said, this was well before 2012. It said the Mayans never believed the world would come to an end December 21st, 2012. They believed that a new era would awaken where everyone could know each other's thoughts and feelings.
Twitterverse.
Social media.
Social media.
And at the time, everyone assumed, all my friends were like thinking that meant like we'd somehow become psychic.
Yeah.
And we were like, that's ridiculous.
Right.
Like the world ending, we roll our eyes at, but at least the world blowing up is something, but how do you become psychic? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Twitter,
Twitterverse.
YouTube, Facebook.
You can open up this blue screen and see everyone's shower thoughts.
But that's what was crazy to me because I remember I didn't even think about this until a couple years later. And I was talking to my friends about it, and they were like, we were talking about some of the old things we had read, and I was like, oh man, the way we read it back then made it sound like it would be the dawning of a new age where humans would have this great enlightenment. Instead, we did get this thing where we can hear each other's thoughts, but it's Twitter. It's a bunch of screeching banshees who are angry at everything and offended all the time.
Yeah.
It's not some glorious enlightenment.
It does feel like we talked about earlier. It does feel like someone hit a hard reset button on the planet, and it's like, I mean, humanity is going to change because of this.
Yeah.
All across the world, people are dealing with the coronavirus in different ways, but it's like in 6 months, society's going to be a little different.
Have you ever seen a car pulling a trailer start fishtailing?
Yeah.
It starts small, wobbles crazier and crazier, and then eventually just flips over.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're doing. For the longest time,
Okay.
we were driving in this car pulling the trailer, no problem.
Yeah.
And then throughout the past decade, it's been slowly swerving a little bit more and more. 2020 is where we're like swerving like crazy and about to flip over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got this, I mean, everything feels like it's falling apart. I mean, the economy is just dead stopped.
Yeah.
It's almost like the simulation just ended.
It's true.
And now they're like, well, this is the end, boys.
Yeah.
Just shut her down. And that's where we're at. Locusts are everywhere. There's no checks. Just like jellyfish are invading the sea. There's so much more Doomsday stuff that we didn't even cover.
Yeah.
Like the jellyfish that are appearing everywhere. Do you know the story?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
All of the fisheries are being replaced by jelly fisheries.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not what you want.
Overfishing. So the void in fish, all the jellyfish come. And now people are harvesting jellyfish for food. There's like a whole bunch of crazy stuff happening on the planet. We had those volcanic eruptions recently. Remember that?
No.
Was it New
There was one in
Zealand?
New Zealand, yeah.
And then people just got like,
died. Yeah, dude.
like, I get it, volcanoes erupt, you know?
But you shouldn't be hiking around it.
Just feels like it's
It's actually happening?
no. You know,
Yeah,
and
a little bit.
It's you know,
Maybe a little bit.
To quote Philip J. Fry, it's the waiting I can't stand, you know?
Right.
I like the way you put it this time.
To quote Philip J. Fry.
Yeah.
Well, we've been watching so much Futurama.
Or quoting it so much.
Well, no, it's because
I feel like I need to do a deep dive
Into
into
Futurama?
Futurama
You
so I can
do.
understand
That's
all
so
of your
much fun.
references.
it's a great show. No, it's
It is
because
good. I actually really like it a lot.
when we're playing
haven't
board
seen it all.
games, we have Futurama in the background.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's
Yeah.
where all these references are coming from. But I recently watched Kang and Kodos, Treehouse of Horrors.
Is
The
that
best
the
best
name
of
of an episode or something, or
It's the two aliens from The Simpsons.
Hmm.
The big green tentacle monsters in The Simpsons.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
yeah.
so-
it's been a while since
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen
It was-
Simpsons.
it
They
was
died
ba-
off a long time ago.
Sure did.
Yeah, but dude, the Bob Dole, Bill Clinton episode where Kang and Kodos take their bodies over and then are running
Oh, I don't think
is
I've seen
hilarious.
that. No.
And then I don't. It wasn't this. So yeah. So there's a bunch of funny jokes. You should check it out. But I don't remember which episode it was. I think it was the one where Kang and Kodos demand Maggie
Okay.
because she's apparently half alien because she got impregnated by Kodos with like a ray gun or something.
Okay.
But then when they refused to give her up, they were like, "If you don't give it to her, we will go to your Washington D.C. and purge your Congress." And then
Oh,
Homer looks at
awesome.
Marge, and she looks back, and he goes, "You couldn't get all of them, could
Could
you?"
you?
And they're like, "Watch us." And they're like, "Oh no, don't."
No,
Fly away.
bad.
But that was in the 90s.
That's pretty funny.
Like the approval rating for Congress is. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify. And we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.